So last week, we uncovered a great dividend strategy using a Brazil ETF called EWZ. That sparked a lot of comments from the group, especially one person who said, how can I find stocks to trade covered calls on? Well, that's the topic of this week's video. Hey folks, Tom here. I look at a person using a covered call strategy as one that wants to try and create income against their stock on perhaps a monthly or quarterly basis. Each month or quarter, the goal is to write or sell a call option against stock that you already own or stock that you buy, therefore bringing in premium to your account. So let's talk about this strategy. Number one, let's talk about the trade. This is a very easy option strategy. You're simply adding options to stock you already own or stock that you want to buy to create income. Here's what you do. You first buy the stock or use stock you've already owned for the strategy. Now, you're going to want to buy or use stock in 100 share increments, because when you sell to open that near money call option, that call option is good for every 100 shares of stock purchased. So let me show you how this looks on one of my favorite stock positions, and that's Apple. Here's a chart of Apple Computer, and you can see here that Apple has been on a long-term uptrend. This is a great looking chart for those that want to create a covered call rolling strategy. Now, with prices hovering above 180, a trader could simply buy the stock at 180 and sell the 180 calls to create that premium collection. Now, what that means is that, for instance, if we took the September 15th 180 calls, they're trading for around $10, which means you're going to bring in about $1,000 of premium for every one contract that you sell against 100 shares. Now, the farther out in time you sell these, the more premium you could collect. So what's the best calls to sell? Well, that depends on many factors. But if you're looking for options with higher premium, then look no further to the high option implied volatility. That's the best way to find options that are expensive when they compare to their own stock price. Now, where can we find such a tool that will help us find this list on a regular basis? Why don't you try mine, tomsoptiontools.com. And I've got a free app that you can download on both the iPhone and Google Play Store to use for both iPhone and Android devices. So once you download the app, you're going to need to enter your login information or non-subscriber link. If you're a non-subscriber, entering your name and your email is your login. Once again, you're going to look for, in the Google Play Store or the iPhone Store, Tom's Trading Room. That is the app. When you download that app and you open it for the first time and you've registered, you're going to see about 8 different buttons there for various scans, right? The one that's free, for those of you that are non-subscribers, is the bottom one. It's called the Morning Report, all right? After you have entered login information or you've registered, you click on that button. It'll open up about 6 different lists. This is what it looks like. We have all kinds of lists on here that we update every single morning. Everything from high volume to high open interest to unusual call volume to unusual put, also cheap and expensive IV. The bottom button, which says expensive IV, that's the one I'm interested in for covered calls and for this expensive IV scan. So let's click here to continue. Now, this is a recent list of expensive implied volatility. And as you can see here, this is a list of the top 10 optionable stocks. Now, we'll scan for thousands of these each day, and the top 10 by most expensive option premium come up. This is not a list of expensive option premium in dollar amounts per se. This is a list of expensive option premium when looking at individual stocks and finding, based on the stock's price, which options have the most expensive values comparing to their stock price. So what we do with this is we look at these every day, and we will value those thousands of stocks based on how cheap their options were and how expensive they were over the course of the last year. And then where are they right now? If you take a look at this list, you got CMO at the top, there's DocuSign somewhere in the middle, and there's Oracle at the bottom. All of these top 10 have one thing in common. Their IV, their high IV, and they have their low IV and their current IV. Their current IV is going to be as close to as possible, if not the actual same number as their high IV. This tells me that these top 10 stocks have expensive options. Let's dive into this a bit deeper with the top stock, that's SEMO. I'm going to put a chart of SEMO up right now. So you can see Silicon Motion Tech, or SIMO, is on the screen. Now, I have highlighted 4 different pieces of this chart. First is the price, the stock price. That's highlighted in green. That's a red and green candlestick that shows the stock price every single day to create the chart. Now, that's what I'm not as interested in. I'm interested in the red line. That red line there is options volatility. And you can clearly see the low and the high for this line as I have highlighted those on the chart and spelled them out for you. Now, look to the far right. That far right, I have it highlighted in purple. That's the current volatility. Notice the current volatility is trading near the top of the 1-year range right now. This means that SIMO has very expensive options when you compare those options for over the last year. Now, obviously, you're going to want to do your homework and maybe some more research to decide whether the stocks in question that you're looking at on this list meet your suitability for covered call trading. But this is a great start. What I've done here with this scan is I've taken thousands of optional stocks and I'm showing you the top 10. Now, all you got to do is take that top 10, that much smaller list, and drill down and do some research for yourself to see if any of these make a great covered call. Hope you enjoy this. I'll go over the other 5 on this list in later videos. Have a great day.